is up? Hopefully you guys are having a wonderful day. Back with some more Resident Evil 6 gameplay for you. And today I finally get my final character on my Resident Evil 1 and Done video playlist. Because basically, if you don't know, Resident Evil 1 and Done basically means any character that's only been in one major Resident Evil game and has just disappeared off the face of the earth. And the purpose of this is to bring that character back to life and see how they can possibly make a return in the Resident Evil franchise. So I finally got to the end. I started all the way back with Resident Evil 0 with Billy Coon, and now we finally get to the end with Resident Evil 6's Helena Harper. Now, I like Helena a lot. She was actually my favorite of the new characters. I liked her personality. I liked her whole story. But unfortunately, I don't think too many people care too much about her. Not that I think they honestly hate her. It's just more, I think, for two things. One, she's in Resident Evil 6, so it always gets usually a bad vibe. And two, a lot of people weren't a big fan of her culmination, the end of her whole story, in terms of how she got off kind of scot-free, which I'll admit I 100% agree. But that doesn't mean that I feel like that can't be used to further enhance her character coming back and have that being used in a very effective way. But as I said before, I liked Helena. I think she played off really good with Leon, and I can see a few team ups in the future for her. But my whole purpose of this is to see how Helena can make a return, and I'm going to see how I can see her coming back post Resident Evil 6 in a meaningful way. And this is my last video of the one and done. Do I do a whole culmination one with all of the characters combined? But without further ado, let's get right into it. Helena is obviously a Secret Service agent. I believe at this point she's only been on the force for a year, and this would be quite an experience gain for her resume, definitely going through this whole event in Resident Evil 6 and working alongside one of the greatest agents in Leon. Definitely had to help her out. But obviously the big thing with her was the whole ending. Obviously playing a huge role of Derek Simmons' breach in security, which ultimately led to the president's death. Granted, it was because her sister was basically being blackmailed, used against her, but the point still stands is obviously she has a lot to answer for. And yeah, her kind of getting off scot-free, but to be fair, in her defense, it wasn't like she was expecting to. She was basically saying that hey, I'm going to have to answer and take responsibility, and I was prepared to do it because she didn't want to be held innocent. She wanted to make amends to the mistakes she made. But obviously Leon and Hunnigan were like, no, the government isn't going to disclose anything and they don't find you liable, which, let's just be fair. The government in Resident Evil is probably not the most trustworthy thing in the world, and they probably let a lot of things go or pretend things don't exist. So let's just be honest here. But that whole plot point itself can be used to further enhance Helena's character, because I could see it being more like, even though she got off scot-free, she didn't personally want to get off scot-free. She was, there to make amends for that shit. So I feel like it'd be something that kind of weighs heavily on her mind. Something that she'd be like, I feel kind of, guilty that I got away with this. I'm still able to be free. And I feel like that's something that can be mentally brought up a lot of times. Whether she's on another mission and have that pop up. Hell, maybe even someone who was a victim of the whole events of Resident Evil 6, and let's say they find out and it was all a cover-up, and that could be a huge plot point to be used against Helena. So it's like, hey, you got off scot-free, but you led to the death of people I know and love, as well as everyone else who died, and you got off scot-free. And I feel like that could be someone who could be like a brand new villain brought into the whole Vicade, a victim of the whole events, because, honestly, we don't have enough of them in Resident Evil. Honestly, it's like people who are victims of the bioterrorist attacks, in terms of like they lost somebody. We got a few, but and I'm not talking about someone like a Jack Baker from Resident Evil 7 where just the thing came there. I'm talking about like something happened to them and that provoked them to be evil themselves willingly, like that changed them forever, where they decided, you know what, I'm gonna become what attacked me in the first place and stuff. And I feel like that could be used a lot, and that could be something to be a very personal attack too. So that's something that could be used against Helena, and we'll see how she does the best to get out of that situation. But now in terms of team-ups, because I keep bringing them up, obviously I'd like to see Resident Evil use its characters more properly and have characters interact more with each other. And with Helena, I keep bringing up this character a lot in some of my other one-and-done persons, but I can see her really getting along good with Carlos. And because, it's cool to not have a Carlos-esque world. You know, we need some Carlos in our, in our life, but like, you know, he's been gone since Resident Evil 3, but I feel like his whole dynamic and how Helena bounced off of Leon, I feel like it'd be kind of similar to the same with Carlos. I feel like they could get along a lot, have some unique, interesting banter. But honestly, the more I was thinking about team-ups, I was just thinking of like who would interact the best with Helena. And honestly, it's kind of weird because like I was thinking about like new characters, people she hasn't met before. And you know, you can make your cases for a lot of people. I was thinking like maybe, you know, someone like I was thinking of Sheva a lot lately, and just have that whole, you know, Secret Service, BSAA, you know, collaboration, or maybe they're just in the same place at the same time unwillingly. But honestly, going back to what I was saying about Helena, you know, getting off kind of scot-free and, you know, feeling a little bit bad about the situation, and, you know, having that kind of mark on her resume or red on her ledger and stuff like that. I was thinking, you know what I can honestly see? And it's a character she's already met, but I could see them kind of interacting and working together. And I actually would like to see this personally, because I feel like a lot of interesting dynamics can come of that. It'll be a character she met in Resident Evil 6, and someone where she didn't have too many moments with them. But I feel like, for some reason, I can't explain why, I could see them two, I don't know, playing it off and working together for some reason, and some way getting along. And that would be Helena and Ada. And I could just see Helena on a mission, and somehow, some way that involves Ada getting involved. And because they both have met each other, she has a little familiarity with her. And maybe she even picks up a few things from Ada, kind of like, hey, you know, you already know firsthand that sometimes, you know, to get the mission done, you got to do things that aren't necessarily going to make you look good in the limelight. So maybe that whole getting off scot-free could turn into, hey, Helena basically maybe even being more kind of like an anti-hero in a way, and doing something, maybe not necessarily being an anti-hero, but doing things basically in a way where like, hey, I can't be whole goody-goody two-shoes either. Sometimes you got to get down and dirty, and you know, who knows how to do that better than Ada, and maybe she gives her some advice on stuff like that. I don't know why, maybe it's just me, but I could see that possibly happening. And because they have met each other in the past, it wouldn't be like this whole, oh, I've never seen you before, and stuff like that. And also, she's one of the few people that I guess knows that Ada is still alive, because once again, we don't know what everyone else knows about Ada. If she still thinks she's dead, because they can't figure out that her and Carla are two different people. But I can see that. I think with the whole getting off scot-free at the end of Resident Evil 6 can build a lot of interesting dynamics, whether people coming back getting revenge, whether it's Helena herself feeling kind of guilty for it, whether it's Helena herself maybe not necessarily going down a, you know, perfect path and kind of having a little red or darkness on her ledger. I see them doing a lot of cool things with that. But nonetheless, I really would like to see Helena make a return. I liked her a lot in Resident Evil 6. I liked her personality. She had an interesting standpoint. Someone actively involved in an attack, but because of family reasons. But it would be cool to see what they could do with the future with it. But as I said before, the purpose of these videos is to bring these one-and-done characters to the limelight, because I like to see a lot of these characters return, which I will give you a little spoilers here. I got one more video that's going to tie all my one-and-done characters all together and get to my underlining point of why I started this series in the first place, starting with Billy Cone with Resident Evil 0, leading all the way to Resident Evil 6 with Helena, and how all these characters I would love to see come back in a meaningful way. But as I always like to say, that is my opinion. I want to hear your guys' opinion. What do you think about Helena? Would you like to see her return? Do you think she got off too easy and feel like that could be used as a plot point to further enhance her character development? Do you see some of the team-ups I was saying about? Or do you got a different team-up that I wasn't even thinking about? Let me know down in the comment section down below. But thank you very much for watching. Hopefully you guys did enjoy this video. And hopefully I can see you guys back on the next one. Thanks, and I'll see you all later. Peace.
Disclosing their findings to the public.
The president would have done the same.